Hello, welcome to Dimp Digital. This is our review of The Walking Dead, A New Frontier. You got me, your host, Tom Adcock, and I'm joined today by Joe Apps. All right, Joe?
How's it going?
Pretty good, thanks. How does it feel to be on the other side of the sort of screen?
I'll take it like a water takes the duck now. It's not really, I bollocks that analogy up, but that doesn't matter. But no, it's always good to get my opinion out there rather than you lot. I do enjoy being on the host side, but sometimes, the amount of games that people are playing is not up to scratch, so I have to do the dirty work myself.
Well, yeah, so I sort of get the impression of a lot of Football Manager being played, a lot of Destiny, not
Yes,
much else.
yeah, exactly. Useful when they're releases, but they come around once a year, so
All right, so we're reviewing the latest offering from The Walking Dead.
yes,
And so I've played the first two,
yes.
but I am completely lost on this. So if you just want to give me a quick recap of those first two. The first one was with Clementine and Lee, right?
That's
And
it, yeah. So season one's you play as Lee and you look after Clementine. Then season two it shifts you into the perspective of Clementine when she's a little bit older, so you take control of her. And then the third one, this new one, A New Frontier.
yeah,
It's the thing with one and two was if you hadn't played one and you went in at two, you felt like you missed quite a bit because Clementine was so you know focused on both one and two. In this one, in A New Frontier, they've gone for a change of main character. So you're primarily taking control of this chap named Javier, or Javier.
see, I had no idea of this. Okay, he was in two, right? Or not? Is he a brand new
No,
character?
these are brand new characters, and Clementine is in it. So
Okay,
she pops up in it, and her story kind of follows on from two, but you can piece it together by playing this one, and you do take control of Clementine through flashbacks. So there's kind of
okay,
like she'll like you'll bump into her, then she'll kind of go back, and then it'll go back to just after the end of season two, and kind of fill in the gap, if you will.
okay. So
Um,
how far after season two is this one set?
Oh, it feels like a few months, maybe a year or so. I don't think it actually gives a specific time period, but because you're taking over a new character, the time period is kind of irrelevant in a way because all the relationships that he's built up are they're kind of there already presented on the table.
Okay. So do you actually, I mean, because the main selling point for me, and I think most other people, was that connection you had to Lee and looking after Clementine. And I
Mm,
didn't quite feel that as much in the second one, actually. Like
yeah.
her, kind of interacting with like characters, it felt different. So is this Javier an
Mm.
interesting fella? Do you
Yeah,
enjoy
I mean,
playing as him?
yeah, I think he's obviously a completely different change of like tone from Lee or Clementine. He's a little bit more laid back, but as the situations become more and more dire as they do in these games, that laid back approach is kind of tested, and you as a player are given an opportunity to make him perhaps a little bit more assertive. And they kind of give you quite an interesting setup. So essentially, um, Javier, his brother's second wife
Yeah.
and his brother's kids. So these kids are with his first wife. You're stuck with those three. So you're stuck with Kate and the two kids. Now the two kids don't like Kate because that's not her real mum. They kind
Yeah.
of respect you because you're their uncle. Um, and then there's this interesting dynamic that the brother's gone missing. We don't know where he's gone. So you've been left to basically pick up your brother's family and look after them. And it's quite an interesting dynamic because obviously you've got the affection for both the kids there, similar to maybe what you'd have with Lee and Clementine. And then there's also this kind of awkward, not quite romantic, setup between your brother's wife and Javier. So you kind of can push and go down that narrative if you wish to, and it sets up some really interesting moments throughout the series for sure.
You can turn him into a little snake, can you?
You can well,
That
that's probably possible.
I actually quite like that dynamic. It reminds me of Walking Dead season, like the TV shows where Rick off the and what his face is worming in with his wife at the beginning.
Yeah,
So
Shane. Yeah, it was. Yeah,
kind of
Shane went and wormed in there.
shame. Yeah,
Rick takes her
rats.
back though, just even though Shane had been up there.
So
Um,
is the storyline as strong then? Because I mean, that's what resells these games. It's all about, the story, right? Like I guess it was episodic again. So
Yeah, 5 episodes, and we know the formula for Telltale. It will build and build into a crescendo until it's just like, the stakes are ever so high. I can't put it on the same area or same league really as season one, because I still think that's one of the strongest stories personally I've played in a video game
totally agree. Yeah.
for a long time. It's more in line with it's very good. It's more in line with season two, I'd say. That kind of area where you've got to take over mainly for Javier and sort of get to know his situation. But there's definitely some interesting moments in there. I think it carried itself throughout the 5 episodes quite well. And I think people, if you're a fan of any of the Walking Dead in the past or any other Telltale games, you're probably going to enjoy this. My only real criticism when it comes to it, I would say, is that I'd really like there to be an option to switch between two characters in a Walking Dead world. So perhaps, on the fly, maybe not on the fly, but in certain situations, you could have maybe chose Clementine, and then her relationships or her way of, speaking to people, they would react differently depending on who you chose. I think that's an interesting dynamic they could have
Yeah.
perhaps gone down. But as it is, you're kind of locked in. Either at this segment you're going to play as Clementine, this segment's Javier. You're locked into doing that. And understand from a storytelling perspective, it's much easier to keep an eye on that. But yeah, I think it's very good. Graphically, it's improved.
So do we have a new engine from Telltale now, or is it that same crumbling mess?
It's much better than what they've shipped out previously. Even to the point, and I don't know if this is even true, but I felt like, and this is an odd thing to say in a video game, that the direction was better, i.e. the
Right.
camera angles they used, the pans. It felt more like a film or a TV show than. I just had this feeling of playing like older Telltale games. It's a very standard, like static shot of when people are talking and when stuff's going on. Whereas this was a lot more. There's a lot more movement there. It looks better, certainly. It looks a lot smoother, but the animations are still very wooden, and I think that's something that really pins it back still quite a lot. The people
You've
moving really stiffly.
you've pretty much played all the Telltale games, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, I'll get your official gradings and whatnot shortly, but where does this sit? Like, is the quality slowly diminishing, or just a return to form? I know you said it's not as good as number one, but that's that's a top 10 game for anyone, I feel. So yeah, where does this sit in the pantheon of all their games?
I would say I don't think they're necessarily getting better or worse consistently. It really is title by title.
Okay.
Like you can pick one up and you think, "Cool, this is amazing," and then you go to another one, you think, "Not so good." Then the next one's really good. You think, "Well, there's no real consistency there." But I think the fact that I like this subject matter anyway, I like this this series, if you will, the television side and in game form. I'll put this towards the higher end, not the very top. Maybe one in their top sort of 5 or 6 area that they've shipped out. I certainly did enjoy it a bit more than what I was expecting, because I was a little bit, fatigued by these games, because they are essentially a cut and paste format, and the story's really got to carry what's going on. And I feel like for the most part that happens with A New Frontier.
Yeah. How many of the 5 episodes, were? I mean, was there any duds? Was there any standouts?
No, I think they're all very strong. I mean, they do the classic thing that people that are listening now want to go away and play, but there's cliffhangers galore like there is in the
Of
TV
course,
show.
yeah.
So, and I think they're not overly cheap, and typically what I hate about a cliffhanger is usually when you come back the next week or to the next episode, the payoff isn't there. And for the most part, I think that was there. There's no, I think
Yeah.
they're consistently decent to good in this one. There's no real poor ones that I could pick out.
That's not okay. I'm going to fish it in. So, is it a buy it or is it a bin it?
It's a fucking bite for sure.
Nice. And your official grading, please.
It's going to be a silver.
Nice. Okay, that's amazing. Right, there you go. You heard it here from Apps. Buy it. Pretty good game. How much does it show?
Oh, I don't know now. I mean, it was it's on the £20 sort of mark when it come out, but certainly now it's all out in one go. You can pick it up for less than that, £15 to £20, I'd say. You'll find that if you look around in the sales.
There you go.
Amazon
Amazon.co.uk. Go through them. We get a little kickback, so that'd be great.
Don't,
Backslash.
we
No,
don't, no, not yet.
you didn't set it up.
They said no.
No. All right. Thanks very much, Joe.
Cheers, mate.
Take care.